Stay with us here on TVC Breakfast. It's not time for us to look at what the papers are reporting this morning. Let's have a walk through. The Nation newspaper says Ojulari, NNPCL lost $500 million monthly to refineries operation. Oil giants will adopt private partnership to ensure sustainable profitability. This Nigeria, NNPC refineries lose 500 million naira, says Ojulari. GCEO seeks foreign expertise, says attacks, sack plots won't derail reforms. Nigeria News Direct, NEC approves new 2026 to 2030 medium-term national development plan. Projects accelerated economic growth, improved food security in 2026 as excess crude account shrinks to $535,823. This day, you have NEC moves to fast-track $1 trillion economy, endorses renewed hope 5-year economic plan, and above the masthead, Governor Umba revamps upgrades Niger gas after 30-year dormancy. Platform Times, NEC endorses renewed hope plan, rallies support for eradication of polio, job creation infrastructure, top agenda. Federal government pledges inclusive process with state, private sector. The Blueprint newspaper, federal government has no signed deal with ASU on 2009 agreement. That's according to Alausa. Daily Trust, universities head for strike. And Friday, Leadership Friday, federal government, ASU dispute lingers as minister denies past agreements. The Daily Times, COS, that is Chief of Army Staff, raises concerns over drug abuse among soldiers in conflict zones. The Guardian newspaper, surge in unruly fan conduct, match day violence, plunge NPFL in crisis. And lastly, Sport Alive, Ademola Lukman on Spurs radar. Interesting stuff here. All right, let's get down to brass tacks. Olamide Ria, you see, talking about the Nation newspaper as well as this Nigeria, focusing on the NNPCL and the amount of monies that have been lost, so far. According to the GCMD, Ojulari saying that NNPCL lost $500 million monthly to refinery operations. Oil giants will adopt private partnership to ensure sustainable profitability. The same thing for this Nigeria. And then he says we were pumping over about 50,000 barrels of crude. What was coming out was less than 40% of equivalent of what was coming in. And you know that NNPCL, when it comes to wasteful spending, not wasteful, like you do not get to see the result of how much monies that have been sunk into, the project, refineries and all of that. Even the account balance don't even balance.
And Ibrahim, when I hear this, I feel really sad. When we talk about, NNPCL, it just really breaks my heart with what happens. We're talking about $500 million. This is not even 500 million. And some of this monies could have been used for schools, roads. Like there's some, and it's the way they're just casually saying it. We said it a lot of times on this table that a lot needs to be done when we come to this establishment. Because when we speak about oil in Nigeria, it's our pride. It's the major thing we do. Right. So the amount of corruption that happens there. Now, these refineries that they were spending the money on, guess what? The refineries are not even working. So where was all the money going in terms of accountability? Where was the money actually? That's the question we should be asking. And then we have people come out of power and they're writing books. No, we want you to speak when the thing is happening. I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody.
In those books?
We need to speak about it when, no, it's true, Olamide. Like these are things that affect the daily Nigerians. This money that you are saying that was wasted for nothing, it could have been used for better things, for Nigerians to even enjoy it.
Absolutely. Olamide, and then talking about the refineries, Mr. Ojulari said that some people would say, yes, there is old refinery, there's a new refinery, saying that the old refinery is only meant to feed into the new refineries and then we'll have the outputs that we desired. But the thing is, the amount of money, because of how much they've spent into it, they need, private partnership to ensure that this is really, really working. But some people are also ganging up to say, no, we want this man out of this position. Why? Because he's, according to him and according to sources, he's ensuring that he sanitizes the place.
Absolutely, and we don't like a challenge. We don't like to be corrected. We like to capitalize on loopholes in the system, and the moment somebody comes and says, I want to do something differently, he has to go. He's terrible. But I will say, I find it so interesting, almost scary, that our refineries are more liabilities than assets. How are refineries costing us more than they produce? It makes no sense to me. And this data coming out, like you rightly said, we have $500 million leaving, as in being drained. That is a very,
every month, Olamide.
Every month, that is a very, very scary figure. And I oftentimes, you know, on this table we've said that we constantly have dialogue about NNPCL. It almost seems like this dialogue about the refineries is a distraction from actually holding them accountable. We're constantly having conversations about refineries. I want to see more figures, and not just more figures, but I want these figures the data we have, to be applied into refineries. A refinery should not be a liability, it should be an asset. We've been hearing this for over 2 decades.
Absolutely.
And just to add to what Olamide says, I feel like they say when a new person comes and is doing well, they want to take him out. All I want to say is that he should do a lot of working instead of talking. We are tired. When it comes to NNPC, we are tired of talking. We want to see work put on. Because how can our it's all about corruption. When we talk about there's no day you talk about it and you do not add corruption. And it shouldn't be.
We should not even be saying this thing outside that we're losing.
Monthly, put it monthly.
With the president signing deal with Petrobras, coming into the country, I'm sure it's going to, push on an agenda at the NNPCL to wake up, to doing, the right things. Nigeria News Direct, NEC approves new 2026-2030 medium-term national development plan, projects accelerated economic growth, improved food security in 2026. And if you also look at the Platform Times saying NEC endorses renewed hope plan, rallies support for eradication of polio, job creation, infrastructure, top agenda. Federal government pledges inclusive process with state, private sector. So the same thing for this day. So with this coming up, we always have the Vision 2020, Vision 20, now we are past
Vision 2050 now.
Now what we are having is between the midterm National Development Plan, which is between 2026 and 2030, which they believe that will help consolidate the current reforms while addressing Nigeria's socio-economic realities, according to the government. So one thing is we want to tackle so many things, but without having the appropriate plan that will show us, yes, this is the blueprint. We have to, after this, we'll achieve the next, by so and so time, we'll definitely have achieved, certain, milestones.
I know when we speak about this, what I said earlier on, because we've spoken about something like this on this table, I said, you cannot be walking like a snail and expect to see results of if you are walking like, maybe what's the fastest animal in the zoo, maybe a
like
tiger or a cheetah. So I love the fact that right now there is a roadmap, and it's just saying that I cannot just tell you, oh, in 2030, I'm going to be this, without planning. And now I'm happy that now they are saying that, okay, these are the roadmap, these are the things that will be done. Because of course, there are so many things that need to be put in place. With the way we see the economy now, we thank God things are reviving, things are getting better. But Ibrahim, there is still a lot that has to be done.
That's right.
So I am hoping now that this roadmap will help. This roadmap will be a way for them to see, oh, we're doing this right. It will be a way to even check accountability as well. How far have we gone? What is the progress? And I hope that they really use this roadmap. I always say it's not just about saying things. I hope that when we get into the field, we're able to use the roadmap and not just say there's a roadmap. And I believe that if this roadmap is used properly, it's going to be a better Nigeria.
Absolutely. Olamide, talking about job creation, infrastructure, and then the pledging that, the inclusive process with states and private sector to ensure that at the end of the day, the common man gets the dividend of this governance. So that they will say, yes, we have something to be proud of. Talk about education, infrastructure, etc.
Absolutely. It's good that this National Development Plan is a policy that's being put on paper. It gives us more clarity. But there's certain things that we must look out for. We want clear numbers. How many jobs, how many initiatives, how many hospitals, how many schools, by when? Who's paying for it? Is it the federal government? Is it public-private partnerships? Is it the private sector? And we need a public scorecard that we can check every quarter. Is the National Development Plan being followed? Because until this National Development Plan is implemented, or we see some doings, as the Gen Z say, it's just another PDF. It's another PDF document to me, but it's good to see they're taking initiative against the 2050 vision.
And if you look at it, the president has been doing a lot as well. We need to give him his accolades on that. We see it happening, but more can be done. That's what we're saying. And if more is done, it's for the betterment of Nigerians. And that's why I always say that we also need to speak positive of our country, because this is all we have. We are the only ones that can tell our story.
Most definitely. So let's look at this day newspaper. If you look at the masthead, we'll have Governor Mba revamps, upgrades Niger Gas after 30-year dormancy. Now, plan to create 5,000 jobs, produce 100 cubic meters of oxygen, 45 cubic meters of acetylene per hour, nitrogen, argon gas, carbon dioxide, CNG stations in the pipeline. So this is quite a whole lot, that is coming out, that should be coming out of the Niger Gas, which is now getting revitalization, revamped, 30 years after. So 5,000 jobs to be created, which I'm so excited about that. And then the CNG, which is going to come as a buffer to the price of petroleum and all of that. People that are adopting CNG, I don't know whether you guys have converted your cars to CNG,
maybe soon,
so that you spend way less. All of that. So, what do you make of this very quickly?
First of all, I want to say Mba is doing a fantastic job. He's been doing a great job. We cannot even deny the fact. For him, I love the fact that he thinks of his people, and that is why you are put there. You're not put there for yourself. You're put there to make sure the people are okay. One thing why I love this is because I'm looking at the families. Families cannot afford gas. Sometimes you hear that people cannot even afford gas, Ibrahim, to cook. But it's good now that we see that this is also.
Some people are going back to.
That's what I'm saying. People are going back to. So seeing that this is coming, they get to be able to afford gas. Families can now afford gas. It helps the economy. It gives more job creation as well. So when I saw the headline, I'm like, yes, we've been seeing a lot of good things that he's doing. But after 30 years trying to bring this back, it means that he's a governor that is thinking, and not just thinking about his people. Because somebody will be like, oh, 30 years, it's been a long time. There's no need to revive it. But reviving this is also going to help the people as well. So, this is a very fantastic initiative. I just hope that it's being able to put into play. Because if it does, families will, will definitely.
When we look at the importance of what he's doing in terms of oxygen, it can keep patients alive. It can power hospitals. This is life-changing. It's not just about infrastructure. It's an interest in people's lives that is going to be driven through infrastructure. When we look at Enugu, Enugu I think it was in history was predominantly called the coal city. It has industrial roots. And like you said, Ria, it's good to see that this is an industrial revival. Enugu should take its place as an industrial champion. I mean, back then they were the coal city, so this is very important. Welders will be empowered. That's more jobs. Hospitals, more jobs. Mba he's moving, and that's what we like to see. We like to see motion, and we like to see revival. That is important. To see a governor who sees that things have died and is saying, I'm going to breathe life into it.
Right now, let's move on to the Blueprint newspaper. Federal government has no signed deal with ASU on 2009 agreement. That's according to Lausa. It says government won't settle for deal not tenable, sustainable. You are wrong, varsity teachers reply, minister. The same thing for Daily Trust saying universities head for strike. This is the last thing we want to see. The federal government is saying that that ASU is referring to 2009 agreement, which no deal they had any signatory to. And then there is another one, I think in 2019 or thereabout, saying that it was just a draft agreement, and we've not said we're going to implement something like this. So, but they need to meet them halfway at the end of the day, so that we do not have our schools.
Before the show, I was saying something. In every country, education stands tall. And the moment we realize the importance of education, I tell you, this will not be happening. When this happens, there are so many things that happen that we do not even see. I remember when I was in Ghana, when I see Nigerian students coming, you know what they tell me why they're schooling in Ghana? Majority of them, they'll tell you because of the strikes. But then I did not understand. I'm like, what is ASU strike? I didn't know what it was till I got to Nigeria, then I understood it.
Charlie,
I'm telling you for a fact. So I feel like when we understand that when these people go on strike, it hits us badly.
Absolutely.
It doesn't even send good signs when we travel abroad. When they travel abroad, they ask, why are you coming? Oh, because of the strikes. I'm supposed to do law. I'm supposed to study, to be a doctor for this amount of years. Where I'm staying 10 years to it. Like, it's not important. Another thing, again, I feel like the government needs to sit on a round table with these people and settle the differences. This is not the first time ASU has gone on strike. Yesterday, we still spoke about it. The amount these lecturers are having, it's not the best.
Right, allow me very quickly. But it's good that the government is saying that there will be Yayale Ahmed-led committee to renegotiate with ASU. That's
Yayale Ahmed was a formidable leader. He had a passion for education, and what ASU saw under his charge was formidable leadership. It was a passion for education. It was dedication. My father himself was a lecturer, Professor Femi Odekunle, and he was a member of ASU. And I watched him all his life dedicate his life and his time to the craft. Yesterday we watched as ASU officials told parents we cannot continue like this. We are sorry, but your children are going to have to stay out of school until the government meets us halfway. We don't need to have this document back and forth. While we are doing this, students are in limbo. We cannot afford that. This is the future of Nigerian youth.
Yeah, so Ria, very quickly, if you look at the Daily Times, Chief of Army Staff raises concerns over drug abuse among soldiers in conflict zones. And you see some soldiers who are facing this terrorist, the enemy of the nation. You know, some of them are, doing drugs because they just want to be fierce on the battlefield. But do you not feel that this is even dangerous for them?
It's more dangerous, please. When it comes to anything that will change you from who you are, you don't need any drug to make you, because you'll still come back to your normal self. God created you like this. God is the most high. You cannot be higher than God. So when I hear stories like this, I'm like, I don't think it's the best, because I feel like when you're intoxicated, you cannot even perform well. So I don't believe that they are taking it for them to be fearless, because you're already fearless. To be a soldier, you must be fearless. You cannot say you want to be, like I cannot get up and start to be a soldier.
I love the
Ibrahim, certainly you would not say you want to be a soldier, because we are all afraid.
No, we are all soldiers.
But now I'm saying that if you know you want to go to the field, first of all, the criteria is that you are fearless. So why do you have to take something to make you fearless?
I love the fact that you're speaking like a mother. But Olamide, let's quickly.
This is a failing once again to look after the welfare of our soldiers. Right? We are telling them that there's a lack of morale boosting, and that is what is showing up here. They lack the proper welfare to be taken care of.
That's right.
And that is what is happening. But I will say this though: this drug abuse problem is not just in the army or it's not just in defense. It's in police, and we've seen how that it's in police. It's in all aspects of security, and we've seen how that plays out. Trigger happy policemen, trigger happy soldiers.
Because you're not your normal self.
This will manifest
your normal self.
When
it
you're
will manifest in military strategy, and we will fail because our inhibitions are lessened.
Sorry, I'm so passionate. Mothers on the table. Let's take the Guardian. If you look at the Guardian, it says bad for business, surging unruly fan conduct, match day violence plunge NPFL in crisis, and then you see fans. A fan, according to the dictionary, if you look at the origin, is from the word fanatics. They started using the word fan, by the US, in 19th century. But the problem there is, people who go to watch this football, they get angry, especially when their clubs, fail to win. And the next thing is they start attacking soldiers, attacking themselves and all of that. Why do people behave this way?
We cannot talk about fanatic sports. There is an intrinsic link between masculinity and football. When you look at football and the fact that it's a very contact sport, and you look at the fans of football, there is a need to show that I am masculine. And I don't know why people think that masculinity must envelope itself or manifest with violence.
Are you being chauvinistic
and that's what we're seeing here. I mean,
I don't do with that what you want. I don't think that's what you're trying to say. But basically, when we talk about football, there's a lot to say about this, but Brian.
Because of the time, right?
Because of our time.
I pretend to like football around my boyfriend. I'm like, oh my God, babe, go!
And people do a lot of bettings, and that gets them to be very, very desperate when it comes to issues. So if you look at Sport and Life, Ademola Lukman on Sports Radar. But because of our time, that's about it for the newspapers up for review today.